Well, welcome everybody to the show, KUHS Denver with the Wow Show. That's right, the Wow Show with Carla Vaughn.
Woohoo!
It's always a fun time to do this show because every time we start this show, it's always something new, different, fresh, and convenient for you to know about the website Wow for small businesses, right?
Yep, wowforsmallbusinesses.com. Thanks for having me again, Henry. I always appreciate my interaction and time with you because you are so awesome.
And what's going to be really good today is we're going to go ahead and do a review of all the shows you've had. And what's really cool about everything you've done here, there's been people picking up on a lot of your stuff and looking over your beautiful website that you've developed. And I'll go over some of it, some of the webinars that are on there. Well, let's see if you can remember back to when you first started the first show. And what we
Probably
talked
not, but okay. You know I'm over 25, okay? Remembering back from months ago, I don't know.
We can go out all night long, get drunk, come home, and go back to work.
And still not remember what happened. I know. Nowadays, you don't even have to get drunk. You just have to get older.
Isn't it something about the three things that go on in life? It's they say the three types of people. Those are those who make things happen, those who know what happened, and those don't know what happened. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
That took a while. I was like,
you got it absolutely correct.
You've heard that before, right?
I have, and that's why I chose to be one of the people that make things happen, and not wonder what happened or sit back and ask what happened.
And it's a lot of fun with what you do. Is very vibrant. And, you know, you're into taxes and those such things, but then you also developed this beautiful website which helps small businesses and people who are into the small businesses kind of reconcile their thoughts and put them together via the webinars, because one webinar may catch you just right to where, there's the answer. Isn't that what you have up there?
Absolutely. So, you know, like I always like to say, there's a million motivational speakers out there and inspirational speakers. Okay, is that what I do? Yes. Okay, is that all I do? No. I want to carry it one step further. My thought is this: there's no need to sit there and tell you as an entrepreneur, you need to get your you-know-what up in the morning and get going when you just told me yesterday you had a client dump you and you're like, I don't know, I should be in business, you know. And I'm like, are you serious? Do you know how much you have to offer the world? So some of these webinars are about you just getting up in the morning and saying to yourself, I am successful, I am successful, I am successful. Because you've got to remember, everything that has happened that's negative, you have to choose to let that go. And that is sometimes hard for entrepreneurs to do, because some of you out there, yes, I'm talking to some of you out there whose egos are this big that it makes it very hard to let rejection or bad things happen and you not still think well of yourself.
And it's exactly true about all these different variables that you have to go through. And starting your small businesses, I don't know, they say making it go for 2, 3, 4, I put it at 5 years. It takes 5 years to make it develop, to make it stand, to make sure that it's a going business. First, second year are really difficult. Third year, it starts to prop up and grow. You plant the seed. Fourth and fifth year is when you see it actually grow to be a solidified business.
And I like that you said that, planting the seed. One of the webinars, or actually a couple of webinars, are about growth, about you having planted that seed and being patient enough to wait to see it come alive, wait to see your business flourish. I have a gal, she's new to me on my accounting side, which is business and financial management services, and she's an entrepreneur, and she does this fantastic business about serving traumatized teenagers.
Whoa.
Yeah. And she's an awesome woman, and she was very upset because she owed taxes this year, and she's just like, I think I should just quit my business and stuff. And I was like, whoa, time out. I was like, part of this problem is because you earned income and didn't pay estimated taxes. I said, but the other part is your husband.
Can him? No.
He didn't, no, not that.
I know.
He seemed like a nice guy. He didn't pay enough taxes either. This is both your faults. But I was like, you can get over this. Why are you thinking about quitting your business? I think she's been in business for like 2 years, and that's it. And she had like 13,000 in terms of a gain, and I was like, do you know there are some people who would be jumping for joy that their business even made more than 1,000 a year? You made 13,000. This is your barely second year of being in business, and you're crying over taxes. I kind of get it, but the other part of it is you've got to nurture and love yourself to realize this year is better than last year. And so whether you're looking at the numbers or looking at people subscribing to wowforsmallbusinesses.com, or you're looking at the gain in your business relationships, you've got to stay focused on the growth.
And you always have to stay focused on your growth. As you do grow, you got to be prepared to take that on, because now comes more work. You may have to stay later. You may have to put in the 70 to 90 hours a week.
Or a day. Depends on how your days go.
You work like 28.
28 hours a day during tax season. That is how I roll.
A lot of people don't understand that, especially as a entrepreneur, that how much effort and time you have to put into it. And you say, oh, you have it made, you have your own business.
Do you know what I had to do to get there? Or do you know what I'm doing behind the scenes?
That's right. And a lot of people say that when it really hits is when you sell that business and it's worth a lot of money. Then there's where you reap your reward. Others say, well, as you grow your business, it gets big, then you reap your reward. It takes care of itself. You have a manager, you have the bookkeeper, you have everybody just making it run like a well-oiled machine. Then you can go off. And there's some that just try to do it all themselves, wear all the hats.
Of course. And that's where all entrepreneurs typically start from. So if you're a startup, if you are in the growth phase, so if you're in that first 1 to 5 years or 1 to 7 year period, wowforsmallbusinesses.com is definitely for you. It is geared for you to not just be inspired, but to learn those little bit of business tips that are going to help you survive. We get so wrapped up sometimes in the passion of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish that when something blindsides us, we get knocked over and think it's the end of the world. And I know you men out there, you may be like always beating on your chest, oh, I can handle this, right? And you think it's only women that get bowled over by unforeseen events. But that is so untrue. We all do. It's just you men don't tell us about it. Well, you may tell your wives, but,
Don't cry.
Don't cry. And the thing is, though, Henry, if you haven't cried during the time you've had literally tears, people, this is what I'm talking about. If you haven't actually shed some tears during the time you have owned your business, then you're not just not into your business. Your business is not into you, and you're not into your business.
I wanted to bring this up. This is something very different, and I think about this all the time. Like there's a lot of young men, young women back in the day used to go buy themselves a couple of kilos of marijuana and break it down and make bags of marijuana, be a 2-finger or 3-finger bag. Now, if they got caught with a matchbook of marijuana, you'd get sent to prison 4 or 5 years. Now, look at the change of efforts that have gone on. Now, this is giant-sized businesses.
Right.
And, but you can't be in that kind of business. You have to have this, that, this, and that. You got to have at least 100,000 to start. You got to do this, do that. Look at the change of that business. And all those who had that business, just selling it like they were on the streets, are in prison. I've always given that some thought. How come they're not turning all these people loose?
They have actually turned some loose in some states. Yes, they have, because of the change of laws, and if the state has adopted marijuana for being a legalized substance. But you also have to look at it's always what I would say, cost benefit reward system in whatever you're doing. Okay?
Cost benefit reward system.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. The little dealer on the street was not like in the hole, and someone said, well, and you throw a little weed up for me, and you make a few bucks, I make a few bucks. So, that was still entrepreneurship.
Yes, it was really interesting how that used to work back in the day. But they made it into this big, you go to the dispensary, you go in there, it's all high tech, all just modern as heck. Sometimes I wonder if they're really selling marijuana.
Well, what are they selling?
Yeah, I was like, what are you selling?
Let me tell you, my daughter, Courtney, hi, this is your mom, okay, talking about you. My daughter took me to a dispensary. She was, I think, 19 or 20 at the time. Anyway, and so we pull up, and, okay, I haven't dealt with weed since I was her age, okay? So it had been
Since
a few
you were
years.
a couple of years.
Yeah. So we're in the car. We pull up into the parking lot. We're in the car, and she's trying to tell me what she wants. And I am so confused. And then finally, we were in the car like 10 minutes talking, and I was like, look, I'm going to go in. I'm going to do the best I can to get you what you said. But if I don't get out this car, they're going to call the cops on us because something's going on when you're pulling up to a weed dispensary and just sitting in the car talking. Something's wrong with that picture, But I mean, I remember when I first went in and they were like checking ID, and then you have to go through another set of doors, and and then it's like, okay, my vice is jewelry. Okay, so I love jewelry places, and it looked like a jewelry place, okay, because it had all these bright lights and things were shiny and clean and glass and people there to wait on you hand and foot, and I was like, wow, this is so different than the guy on the corner.
Now, here's another thing I think is funny is that you go in there, it's like you've been to Starbucks to order you some coffee, right? Give me a frappuccino, Del Grado, all these things, and
shaken but not stirred, topped with whipped cream, put sprinkles and crunches on top, and don't throw a straw in there.
Now you go to the dispensary, Starbuds.
Yes,
it's the same thing.
Yes.
Give me the purple haze that's manufactured in Jamaica, but make sure they give me the smaller bud, not the shake. You want your name on it?
Yeah.
Yes. And you get a free joint because you came in.
Thank goodness for that incentive.
Incentive.
So what we're saying is all about this. There is a love out there, you all that are listening, for entrepreneurship. There is a love, a passion for what you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Simple as that. You would go work for Amazon, Walmart, Raytheon, someplace, because that's not the kind of person you are. Okay, you're very, very special. Even if you are just listening out there and you're a part-time entrepreneur, if you have a regular job and then are doing your little business on the side, that's fine. You still have this spirit, you still have that passion, and you really should continue to embrace it and find out what is so good about what you do,
Exactly right, because, these dispensaries have gone, into the ozone with their products and how they sell. They advertise on TV, they advertise on radio, newspapers everywhere, big, huge ads. Come and get these things. Now, that must be a big business now. So the little guy on the street,
just a multi-million-dollar business, just a little one, yeah.
And back in the day, it used to come from Mexico. They'd bring it across the border in semi-loads, and the cops would be sitting there watching the semi going by saying, international marijuana importers. What the hell? That's how it used to be.
And people used to grow it a lot, too.
Yes,
that used to be very popular. But then you had to watch who your friends were, because for those of you who know about the 70s, they started really cracking down, and people were turning people in for reward, money and that kind of stuff. So, sometimes it's about you keeping your business your business.
And the thing about this is it's cropped up all these other businesses. Everybody started being entrepreneurs toward the like the pipes, you can build your own place, little thing to build, grow your own marijuana and stuff like that. So they have these stores that have all this cool stuff in it to grow.
Exactly. But it's like that with any industry. When cell phones came out, They were these big clunky things. Okay. Hey, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking
Look like a
about,
walkie-talkie.
watch a somewhere between 1972 and 1980 movie where somebody's on their cell phone. It is a huge like walkie-talkie thing. Then they got compressed. Then they got to be computerized. And then after that, oh, we have to have our accessories. So we have to have a phone case and a phone strap and a little dilly-do thing on the back and a place to hold your cards and all this great stuff. So just think about what you're doing as an entrepreneur and where it could lead to. You don't even know. You don't even realize sometimes whether you're doing a product or a service that there's other things that interplay with that mainstream that can benefit the people that you serve.
And the the businesses that crop up out of these things are incredible. Like I seen one, a medical device that's $89, and I think it's 79 now. Put your fingers on it and does all your heart rate, your blood pressure, does everything for you, and then reports. It's like the app that they have associated with that little device, like you said. All these little devices that go along with, and I don't call them phones anymore. I call them small iPads with phone capability.
Which is really what it is.
That's all they are. That's what they are.
Which is what it is.
High-end computers, iPads, mini iPads with phone capability.
Yeah, so think, you know, as an entrepreneur, you need to keep thinking about just not the future of your business, but all those things that help support your business. So Henry has up our store, and so one of the things that helps support our business is our store. So Puzzle Pieces of the Mind, the 40 Days of Prosperity. Pretty soon, we're going to have to take the WOW mask off because COVID, we're pretending so far, is almost over. Okay. We have posters and just, you know, a whole lot of really good things to help support you in your journey to stay uplifted as a business owner. So the masks are obvious. Remember your ABCs. This is in my home office. I love the ABCs. Okay, starting with the A. Avoid negative people. Okay, ABCs of living are great, and they take you through the alphabet. So that poster is definitely it's a nice thing to put up on your wall. It's not too expensive. In fact, I am going to go see. Well, my client's coming to see me today, and he was the first one to get on my website and buy a poster.
And these are really nice posters when they walk into your office or wherever you're at, and they get that message from you. It means a lot. People don't realize how much a message in an office means. Like some people have some really nice ones where it says, you know, the sun thinks it's bright and shining on me right now. Wait till sunset. I'm going to outshine it. You know, things like that. That was so cool.
Yes, I like that. How true.
Yeah,
you know, the sun is awesome. Yeah. Coming up and going down.
Yeah, so it says, you know, wait till the sun thinks it's got something on me. I can outshine it. Wait till sunset.
I like that. So anyway, so we have things in the WOW store that can help support you in your journey. The book, Puzzle Pieces of Your Mind, is a great read. It talks about what I learned in life spiritually, but it also talks about what you learn from other people. And so I recount every significant relationship in my life. My mother, my father, my sister, my nieces, longtime childhood friends. And it also, the other half of the book, is put together very uniquely, is prose and poetry from my daughters and myself over a span of 5 years.
So it's all your brothers, others, lovers, mothers, sons, former roommate, and twice removed cousin.
Exactly.
She went along with it. She was trying to say, what is he saying?
I like it. What he says, right? He says, the 40 Days of Prosperity, you see it says 0.00. That is not a typo. It is actually free of charge. And if you order it with the WOW Journal above, then you get the 40 Days of Prosperity placard with your journal. So the journal is great. I just gave one to my friend. Your 40 Days of Prosperity, your t-shirts. Your t-shirts are an opportunity. There's a reason why it's white, okay? The t-shirts are white with just our logo on to represent, not that you just support us as being wowforsmallbusinesses.com, but that you are presenting your best side. Think about it. When you go into a place and you see people in white, what do you think? You think clean, you think crisp, you think open, compared to dirty browns or something like that. Okay, so you have to realize that everything that you do, whether you're an entrepreneur or individual, is constantly sending a message out to the outer world. What message do you want to send on a regular basis becomes what is really important as you develop yourself as an entrepreneur.
And it's true, you as you start your businesses, and I say businesses because I always say there's two businesses in one all the time because your home life kind of equates to the business also. So you have to be very careful on how you do your business and your home life together. We talked about this on one of your shows. You have to be so careful with incorporating the home life with the business.
Yes, there's a time for you to do it, and there's a time not for you to do it. I think I had mentioned when one time we were talking about this. I have a client. She's been a client, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years. I originally met her to do QuickBooks training. Great gal. And she came into my office for her monthly financial meeting, and she said, I was talking to so-and-so, and I got this negative feedback, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't understand, what was the feedback really over? Oh, he was criticizing how I ran my life, and da-da-da. And I was like, well, is this a personal, intimate relationship or friendship? No, it's just business. And I was like, okay, so this is where your mistake was. Don't tell people your business about what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, she's very smart. She's attractive. You would think she has all her stuff together, but over the years, there's been this huge chaos running in her background. Well, she was a very open person and would just start talking about all the mess she was having with her personal relationships and her kids and her friends and all like this. And I was like, no, 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 no. Business is business and personal is personal. Know your audience, people, okay? So you can have a friendly business relationship, but you still only let that person in to a certain level, okay? You don't want to totally expose yourself because unfortunately, sometimes people use that against you or they think worse of you and they don't think you have your life together. And that's not the impression you want to give. So that's important. So we have our monthly WOW webinars up here for just $39.99, which is great. You also have quarterly for $99.99. So you get all these webinars in your in-basket on a regular basis. So each week you'll receive a new webinar specifically for you. Quarterly subscribers, you get 4 inspirational webinars each and every month for several months. And then you also have the annual, you have the yearly. And the yearly is probably one of the best deals you can go for. So when you're thinking about what do I do every day? What do I do to make myself feel good? What do I do to improve my business acumen? What do I do to just feel like, hey, I got this, okay? Well, I meditate and I chant in the morning. I'm a Buddhist by practice, love to do it. That definitely sets the tone for my day. But I have also, on more than one occasion, if I'm not listening to myself, I'm listening to someone else tell me a similar message about, hey, we can make this happen today because we got it, okay? So if you want that message and you want that regular daily, monthly, quarterly, however you want to receive your messages on how to start your day, how to end your day even, or how in the middle of the day take a break and get inspired, get motivated, and get back on track to not letting the world beat you down as an entrepreneur, then look to do a subscription to wowforsmallbusinesses.com, just like it sounds. WOWFORSMALL businesses.com, just like it sounds. So I encourage you to go to our website. You can see what the courses look like. You can see what's up there and make this happen for you. Because in the whole scheme of things, who deserves to be treated the best? You, okay? You get to be treated the best. So you have to do self-care. That's kind of like what I do. I will encourage self-care, but self-care as an entrepreneur.
And that's well stated. You do that so flawlessly, and that's why you're a speaker too, right?
That's why I'm a speaker. Yep. Yep, just did speaking engagement 2 weeks ago at Metro Deep Conference.
And let's go over
conference.
some of that because you do speak to some of the schools and some of the high schools who need, and we went over this in one of the programs, financial literacy.
Yep,
which is
Financial Literacy First is the name of my nonprofit.
that is the coolest thing because I spoke to you. I said I didn't think there was anything out there, and he said yes, there is. And you know, a lot of the students, a lot of young people need this financial literacy. They go out into the real world. They don't know about how to even balance a checkbook. They don't even know about how to run your bank account, how to do certain things, how to reconcile, how to buy a car.
Right, right.
Yes.
And that's part of what I teach. So as you can see, you know, everything that I do business and financial management services, it's accounting. Financial Literacy First teaches the basic concepts of money to youth, 17 to 25-year-olds, and we do lunch and learns. And then we have WOW for small businesses. It's like, well, why did she do all that? It's all the same, okay? It's there to mentor, it's there to educate, it's there to teach, and there is a financial foundation related to all three aspects of my businesses, which makes it easy.
And something about you, Carla, you know, with young people, I think you appeal to young people just the way you know, your oration, just talking to them. They look at you and they think, what is she speaking about? Because a lot of them don't know, but some of the parents will teach them because some of the parents run their own businesses. They teach them how to, you know, handle money. And one
But
thing,
very few.
yeah, and some teach their grandkids how to save their few bucks, and when you're going to go somewhere, hey, I've got my $45 saved up. I can go buy it, spend it here and spend it there. Or I can buy my little shoes that I want. Of course, they're not $40. It's like $100. I want the Jordans.
Well, I was saying teenage shoe mentality. Yeah, you know, they know that those shoes can be very expensive. That was the shoes was the first thing my daughters started buying once they got allowances and started getting their own jobs and stuff like that. And they would be, my oldest, oh my God. She'd buy these shoes, I swear to God, I think they were 6-inch heels. And then she was already tall. She took after her father. She was already tall. And she would just be wobbling.
Wobbling in the wind.
She would be determined to have these cute shoes on that were like way too tall for her. But that's part of the joy of spending your money, and I get that, you know.
And you know, when you spend your money, like for the young people, they're taught, and especially in what you teach in financial literacy, is all about this, right? Give us a quick tour of how you actually approach these young people in a symposium or whatever you do.
We do in person and we do a Zoom. So the in person right now we're at some of the Aurora schools, and actually we're in one of the high schools where we teach 3 days a week throughout the semester, every semester. So prior to that, we were in an elementary school doing 8th graders, and we were there 5 days a week, which was way more grueling, but rewarding to deal with the 8th graders. But predominantly, we like the 17 to 25-year-old range. So we deal with those young people. We've also dealt with the government workers. We are currently in the process of getting ready to start dealing with the parents of kids that do Head Start out of LA. So great organization out there has picked us up for lunch and learns. So there's many different ways to teach and approach young people or even slightly older people. It just kind of depends. But one of my joys is like yesterday. I had to go to the high school to teach, and they were having a special kind of like free day for the kids. So they were like, can you take 3 hours? And I was like,
oh wow.
3 hours? Okay, I gotta pull a rabbit out my hat. So I got my hat that's full of rabbits, and I pulled one out, and the hat that had the best rabbit in it was all about teaching the kids how to plan an event. So that 3 hours was very well spent, and it was I was very time controlled on it. And then I broke up the kids by saying, you know, part of understanding your financial world, understanding how you operate, is understanding you. So we're going to break you off into management, marketing, and planning. And they were like, all just like, look at me like, how are we going to figure that out, you know? And so I gave them an oral test. I was like, I'm going to say a bunch of questions and a bunch of things related to things that really inspire managers. Do you like to make your own decisions? Do you like to take charge? Can you take initiative? Can you build a team? Do you like to be in groups? Can you deal with trust? All like that. Versus the creative people, do you like colors and going to museums and art and photography and da 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 da? And so everybody started their project. I was amazed. There was this one kid, I swear to God, he got his envelope, and so in the envelope had all the stuff for them to make the poster board to show their event, whether they were doing a business seminar or a wedding or whatever. He got that stuff out. He was halfway through his poster within the first hour, and I was like, and he had got the scissors, and he was just cutting stuff and then laying it down and pasting.
It gets busy.
Oh my God! And the poster was gorgeous. So I mean,
creativity,
it was,
imagination.
Yeah, and this is for you marketing people.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that comes across the board, even for WOW, for small businesses. You have to understand where are your strengths. So like, you know I am not great at IT. That's why I had someone else do this, okay, who was great at IT. I'm not so great at IT, okay? It's okay. You do not have to be good at everything. But what you have to be good at as an entrepreneur is knowing where your strengths are. I'm a great manager. I'm a great driver, director type of personality. I like to get things done, and I like to get things done the right way and all like that. But I also know that I have learned to be totally comfortable to say, hey, IT person, can you do this for me? This is what I need and want. It's not that I can't do it. I've got the skills. But do you know how long it would have taken me to do it? You know, so think too about helping empower other people to pick up the things that you are weak on or you just can't do at all. And stop saying I don't have the money. Put it in your budget. Here comes the financial piece. Put it in your budget. Save an extra $50 a month to have enough money to hire somebody who can do your SEO or whatever you've got going on.
And what's another thing about you too, Carla, just the way you're speaking here, you have a speaking acumen about you that you go out and speak to crowds. And
yes,
and I could tell just by this crowd size, you still get the butterflies, but the energy from the crowd ignites you to go ahead and give your your speech on whatever you're going to give.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be, like you say, if you're going to be talking about financial literacy, or let's say you're there to speak about how to be an entrepreneur and not be afraid, or whatever it is. You always walk out there and you say, okay, and you get the butterflies, but man, the energy
a little bit sometimes.
the energy of the crowd, or even if it's 5 people, even if it's 100 people, however many, it still ignites you, because I can tell just by the way you're speaking now that. Tell us about one of your speaking engagements you just went to. And let's talk about that. Share with your audience.
I have two.
Two of
I can
them.
share two. One hasn't come yet. I'm working up to it. And the other one I just had a couple of weeks ago. So it was a business conference through an organization called Metro Deep. Hi, Simone and Benzel. And great organization, and they're all about entrepreneurship. And so they give these workshops about once a quarter. So I was part of their workshop last time, but this time I did my speech on the 7 secrets of good credit.
Ooh.
And I have found out that, I think the workshop, I maybe had 20 people in there or whatever. Not a huge crowd, but that was okay. But I find out that me speaking, my joy of speaking is not just being prepared, knowing my stuff, and having a beautiful PowerPoint to present, which does help, and handouts, okay, not just that, but getting to know my audience. And if they're small and you do speaking engagements, I do them pretty regular. I do Rotary Club all the time. I've gone to everything from the Rotary in Gilpin County to Rotary of Littleton, Heidi, all these great Rotary Club events. I do these speaking events with other organizations and what have you. So I've done a lot of speaking. And yes, sometimes I get a little bit of the butterfly. But I find out that if I make it more of a conversation on the smaller speaking engagements, hey, it's not about them, it's about me. I feel more relaxed. I feel more comfortable to move forward and actually have the dialogue and not constantly speak to people, but speak with people. And there's a huge difference. One of the things I am kind of excited about and going to be a little nervous about, I have not done a huge crowd in several years, partially because of COVID and then partially because of life. And so my Financial Literacy First got a grant from the E-Women's group. Thank you, E-Women. And in August, they're flying me to their convention to speak to 400 women.
Whoa.
And I'm excited, and at the same
That's
time,
coming up.
It's coming up. It's coming up in August. So that's my in the future. And I'm kind of excited and then kind of happy. And then I'm trying to remember one of the largest groups I spoke to was when I was a financial planner. I was probably, mid to late 30s, and it was a women's conference in San Diego. And my mother came with me because she lived in California at the time. And I think that crowd was about 2,000.
Wow.
And I remember the butterflies like it was yesterday. I was like, ooh. You know, but it's always been the same for me, which is, okay, after the first, I don't know, 100 words, everything smooths out, and then I'm just sailing along. I'm in my happy space, and I'm just sailing along. I think one of the big things that you can do, not just as a speaker or orator or narrator, but even as a business owner, is to work to feel comfortable in whatever facet of your business you are executing. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree with that. Now, in your speaking engagements, and I'm just going to ask you this, I'm sure somewhere along the line did you forget your material? Not bring it with you, forget your laptop, or forget something, your handouts, and just show up, oh, I forgot my stuff.
Well, there hasn't been a time I forgot. There's been times that I've had technical difficulties, okay, where the computer wouldn't work or wouldn't attach to the HDMI and all like that. And you know what I've done at those moments? I have sat there, and before I get the party started, that's all we say, get the party started. I close my eyes and I take a few very deep, purposeful breaths, and I remind myself all things are in divine order. Okay, that is my biggest motto to live by. All things are in divine order. They are just the way they're supposed to be. And I also realize, as they say, I got this. This is not my first rodeo. You know, I got this. And I just start. You know, I just say, look, everybody's here. Everybody's looking at you.
Go for it.
Time to go. Time to say something. Do something. Start to dance. Something. It's time to get going.
Start to dance.
You know, and it's some of it is a defense mechanism. You know, and then some of it is that defense mechanism leads me to the okay. Stop acting silly. Stop cracking jokes, and just go ahead and go into the material. Because
but those are icebreakers.
Well, sometimes the ice breaks so I can feel better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta put, position that humor and the other things so you can kind of get into the mix of things. Sometimes if things are going wrong, you pull an icebreaker out of there, just like so it'll make you feel better and you can just flow.
That's right. That's right. And then also too, I have always, and this is a faith-based situation. There's a saying that God gives us divine intelligence. No offense to us Buddhist people, okay? But I've always believed that, so that whatever is coming out of your mouth is based on the divine intelligence you already have. So do not agonize, have anxiety over the fact, oh, I don't have my materials, the computer's not working, I can't run the video, whatever the case is, and you think you're totally not prepared. You are prepared.
That's right.
You know, it's just that things are going to go different for you that day or for that session or for that interaction with that group. And sometimes I know truly for me, if I really am starting to, escalate emotionally, that's when I'm closing my eyes and just saying, all things are in divine order, all things are in divine order, all things are in divine order.
Your divine
and take
thinking
those
takes
breaths.
over.
Yeah, you know, because the thing is, too, I've learned this over the years. Nobody really knows
Yes.
what your agenda is.
That's right. That's what's cool.
Nobody knows what your tools were supposed to be. Nobody knows what the video or
They just have your name and
they just have your
speaker.
name. Yes, and you're supposed to be speaking on this topic. Period. Okay.
Yes, so they have no
They have no clue. And I learned some of this though too. Okay, for those of you who now will know a different side of me. Yes, I used to be a clown. When I was a clown, every now and then, my gal Pell and I would go out and stuff would not be right.
It just wouldn't come out right.
And I would whisper to her, it's okay. We're going to sing and dance our way through this one. And we would figure out whatever we needed to figure out.
And it would come out
And
great.
it would be great. And the customer was happy, and the kids were happy, and we had a good time.
That's right.
You know.
One time it happened to me. It was at Metro State,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I was going to speak to just the one class. I think I mentioned this before. And I had been there before. He says, you're coming down to speak to the class. I didn't understand. It was all his classes, all in the auditorium. And I forgot all my material. All of it. And then I go, it's not in this classroom? He goes, no, you're just going to meet me here. We're going to the auditorium. The auditorium. It has 400 plus. It's all the classes.
Mm-hmm.
I go, huh? So, like you said, you wing it. You figure out how, like, nobody knows what you're going to talk about, so I had to use an icebreaker, and I just winged it and got through it, and everybody loved it. You know, it came out fine.
Yeah.
I was, you know, kind of remembering more or less what I had, you know, but I knew I missed some of it, but what can you do?
Yeah.
And that's what
What can you
happens.
do?
What can you do? Sometimes it comes out better than you probably have planned it.
That, you know what? I have found that to happen on a few occasions. It's like, oh wow, I didn't need all that material, or I didn't need all this and that, and this really came out great, you know. And sometimes, you know, you also have to realize that even if either you don't think it did, or you get criticism and
That's
pushback,
right.
it's a great opportunity. One of the things that I talk about on the webinars is about learning. It's about lessons in life. And so if you got a little pushback from something that you said or something that you did, and it's not positive, you know, it's like, you should have did such and such, and why didn't you do such and such, you know?
Yes, you get a lot of that sometimes.
Exactly.
Which means you're actually getting listened to.
You are. But also, too, I'm saying it's a great opportunity for you as an entrepreneur or as a speaker or a demonstrator, whatever you're doing in life, because you get to learn. All right, you get to learn how to be better. What WOW teaches you is how to be better. We want you to be better. We want you to achieve your dreams. We want you to constantly say to yourself that you can do something, okay? Not that I can't, not that I won't, not that I don't, that you can, okay? So much is wrapped up in your head, in your belief systems, that you don't even recognize, but they put you on autopilot every single day. Those things that condition us, put us on autopilot. So if you're going to be on that, why don't you be on the autopilot that says, I can, I am, I'm wonderful, I will, I intend to, I do, okay? Think of the words you say to yourself more than anybody else. What you say to yourself is huge. And I used to tell my children this because, you know, every now and then, you know, you're raising kids and they're like, so say such about me, and
You're such a good boy if they're watching.
And I'm like looking at this child of mine like, what the heck are you talking about? Hey, you don't care about that. I used to tell them what my girlfriend told me when I was in my 20s and I started whining about something. If they're not your breadwinner or your bed partner, bump them.
That's right.
Okay? I couldn't quite say that to like my 10-year-old at the time, but I said something similar. Like, this person doesn't live with us. This person doesn't control your life. This person has nothing to do with you. And not to mention the fact, what's most important, what you say to yourself. I impress that upon them over and over and over again. And I'm saying this to you out there. What you say to yourself is more important than what anybody else says to you or about you, because what you think of yourself is going to be the determining factor that's going to create your healthy self-concept, your healthy self-esteem, and nobody can do that for you except you. You have to believe in you, and you have to accept you as you are and know that there is something wonderful and good and special about just who you are on this planet.
That's right. And that's well stated. You know, there's another show that you did that was really, really good. And we talked about this. Taking advice from other people and, you know, like friends or neighbors or cousins or your own spouse. You talked about this, being careful who you take
Be
the
very
advice.
careful.
And,
Yes.
and let's elaborate on this one. This
Mhm.
one was really good. I really enjoyed this one because sometimes somebody would come up to you and just go on, this, you should do this, you should do that. Your car you bought, you should have bought a red one for running around. That
Yeah.
blue one just isn't you, and blah, blah, blah. And you start,
And you start believing it.
yes.
But see, that's that belief system.
Yes, and you got to watch out
You
for
know?
this kind of thing because,
Mhm.
as you pointed out in that show, there's sometimes you'll take the advice because they're close to you or something.
Mhm.
You think, wow, they're probably right,
Mhm.
and it ain't true.
Sure.
They
Well,
can
you know
take
what?
you down the wrong path.
Exactly. And what I've learned is I will listen, and then this is a trusted friend, trusted family member, whatever. I will listen, and then I give myself, okay, for those of you who do know me, I have